All right, ready?
Yeah.
Welcome to What's Here Now, Kid?
Where we take the wise and often wild and wacky wisdom of children and apply it to our overly complicated adult lives. In this episode, we talk about connecting to the greatest expression of you.
So what is so important about trying new things?
Well, it can help your technique of new things and help you find talent. Like if you can't really find your talent, you can just keep on trying new things.
Wow.
How about that?
Yeah. So I love the trying new things.
Yeah, isn't that cool? I did the simplicity of this one. This came right at the end of the conversation. We had almost 8 minutes of exchange.
Okay.
And so this was sort of like the last. I'm sort of like I'm on my way out doing a Clouseau, or not a Clouseau, what do they call it, a Columbo.
Okay.
And oh, by the way, one last question. And this came out, and I was like, wow, that might be the coolest thing you said.
Interesting. Yeah, for me, it feels like there's two different things in there. There's a piece about talent and becoming better at something. And then there's a piece about new things and trying new things. And for me, I love the trying new things because I think we can get so patterned and so habitual in our lives and what we do that suddenly we don't even know what we're doing anymore. We're just going down the way and doing the same thing. And so when you try new things, you're breaking up that pattern, and ideally it would bring you more into the present moment.
Yeah, and for me, what I like about new things is it's the stretch, and we talk about that in coaching quite a bit. And the idea here of reaching your upper limit, right? If you talk about Gay Hendricks' book, right, The Big Leap, he talks about that. We've mentioned that, I think, before. And I think that we can be in a zone of excellence, but not a zone of genius. Because we've found this place, it's lucrative for us, right? In some way, not just money, other things as well. And we become unexplored.
Right. So, and what do we gain from trying new things?
Well, it's sort of like anything else. You want to go to the next level, you got to kind of break things up, right? You have to stretch the muscles. They get sore. Right? And then they repair themselves and get stronger, and you end up in a place that is actually better, and not just for you, but for those around you.
Right. And we talk so much about presence and being present in the moment. And I really think about it as when you get up and you do that habitual routine that you've done, whether it's going to work and checking your emails, and you're not really present with what you're doing in each activity because your brain knows what to expect. It even knows what emotions are going to be probably created from the activities that you're doing. When we try new things, we don't quite know. It's like going down a new path or on a mountain bike or, driving a new way in a car. You have to pay attention.
You do. You have to be there. Because if you absent the GPS change in our route when we go to work or a place, many times we can go there and just all of a sudden, oh, I'm there.
Right.
So you've just driven 10 miles.
And been kind of checked out halfway.
You've been everywhere else.
Because your body knows how to drive. Your mind knows how to drive.
Yeah.
You're not really there. So the trying new things, and we're always talking about how to bring ourselves into presence and into the present moment. And by trying new things, you get a sort of a boost with that. It kind of automatically brings you into the present moment.
Yeah, and I guess to connect to the other part of her theme here, wouldn't it be really cool that when you are trying new things, you do find you have a talent for something that's been uncovered, and unexplored?
Yeah.
To me, that is awesome.
Really awesome.
I think about some of the things I've learned recently in the last few years. It's taken me this long to find them.
Interesting.
And so when I hear her talk about that at the age of 10, how awesome that is, because at some point we end up falling into somebody else's system or process. We go to work, right? And we're told, well, you have to do your job in this way. We even things that are more social.
Right.
I'm going to get married.
Right.
Well, this is how a wedding is conducted.
Or you get married, you have kids, and then you be happy.
And you buy a
that's how
house and
that's
all
how you
these
do
things,
it.
right? Society steps in and adds these things to you. So what an amazing thing when you can at 10 realize this, and then somewhere along the line in the next 10 to 15 years, society's going to be working really hard to take that away from you.
Mm-hmm. And so what's a way that, because our goal in all of these is to take that childlike wisdom or the innocent wisdom of the child and apply it to our overly complicated adult lives. And in this way, it's really like, how do you be present and curious? And how do you, within the confines of society, still maintain that, I want to say who you are, but that's trite. So it's more that presence and that curiosity towards the infinite possibilities of any given moment and what can happen.
Yeah. For me, it's daring to be different each day. Pick one thing and do it differently. I know when I'm coaching some young professionals right now, and also I'm talking about these themes with some of their immediate management. And that is, and now we'll speak a little bit figuratively, right? When you are promoted or when you are given the chair for your new role, right? Whatever that is, why do you take that chair and assume that because the last person sat in that chair, you have to sit in it the same way? What I want for people is make the way you sit in that chair different today. Make it yours. Make it your chair. And the
chair is a metaphor for anything.
Yeah, exactly. I'm using a job as the metaphor, but the chair of it, right? I sit down in this chair. Why do I have to perform like the last person who did this? And it can be anything. It can be a job, like we said, right? It can be starting a family. It could be anything. It could be how you conduct yourself at home. Do something different.
Yeah, and what I like about what you said is something around what came to my mind was when you wake up, let that first thing that you think be, what is the greatest expression of me? What can I do today to fully be me?
Yeah, and what I like about that, Catherine, is that might allow you to tap into sort of what I'm trying to get across. If you are as authentic as you are, that you show up differently, right? When you are in that space, or not in a space, but if you're on your game and you've set yourself up like you just explained, then you will show up differently with all those around you, both those that are more familiar with you and those that might not be. And again, where I'm going with this is if you choose to do something a little different, it might be people in your immediate circle who they've been 3 rings out from you. And now they look up and go, wow, I've known this guy or this gal for X amount of time, and I've never really noticed her or him before in this way. And now all of a sudden, they're a little closer to you, and they want to know more. And then you connect with them, and something new can happen from out of that. And out of that, you have found a new talent.
Right. A new possibility.
New possibility. And it takes a conscious effort to set yourself up for that, right? We fall into the idea that we are dictated this thing, right? If it's a job, well, this is the way we've done this job for the last 15 years. Well, great, but I'm going to do it differently.
For the next 15.
For the next 15 minutes, maybe. And that might crank out a much different role for us. And anything else. And you pick the other action you want to take or the thing you want to do and be. And just say, because the last person did it that way, doesn't mean that's the way I need to do it.
Yep. And I think we've talked about this before, but we talk about the generous present moment. And so when you show up to that, and as using your metaphor to the chair, it opens you up to a whole new set of possibilities of not doing something the exact way you did it yesterday. It's stepping into a new version of you, or a greater expression. I don't like to say new because it's not necessarily that you need to change completely, but the greatest expression of who you are and your authenticity. You're present in the moment. You get to see what is in this beautiful world. You get to experience it, and then you get to move on to the next moment.
Yeah, dead on. This is something that is really maybe this is why my antenna are up, and so I connected to this part of this conversation from our guest kid, is this idea that things can be realized and explored and show up no matter where you are in life.
Right.
Right? You know,
Absolutely.
the old dog doesn't learn new tricks is crap.
Right.
Right?
Well, and I think a lot of that is really neurology, right?
Yeah.
Like it's neuroscience, because that's just the wiring. I think that's why that comes up, is it
Yeah.
may take more effort at that place because we're not as pliable, especially depending on when you decide to show up differently or make that change. You know, it could take, if you've learned the habit over 20 years, it could take a little while to unlearn it.
Of course, right? It's 10,000 hours to be proficient at the next thing. So while you're exploring and trying out new things, if something really grabs you, then maybe you take that, pull that out and give it a greater amount of attention because you recognize, for whatever reason, this is a talent for me.
Right.
So I'm going to jump in and get a takeaway because you've been getting all the takeaways first. And so I'm just doing this and I don't even know if it's going to be a good one. I am just going to say, be different today. One thing, you don't have to be different the whole day. Just be conscious of it, pick it out. And as to dovetail off what you had said, start the day out, pick that one thing. I am going to take a different route to work.
Mm-hmm. And mine is, what really connect in with what is the greatest expression of you? What if? Start asking the what if questions. What would happen if I woke up every morning and decided to be the best expression of me today? What would that look like? Ask the what if questions. Create your future. Create your new reality from all of the infinite possibilities that are out there, not just the one your mind makes up is the right one or the only one. Open your heart, open your mind.
Can I add something to that?
Of course.
So I loved what you just said, and I shorten it down to act as if, right? Act as if you're supposed to be doing this. Act as if this is who you are, because chances are you are. Right? So especially if you're, saying, well, I can't do that, or people expect me to be that way or whatever, the hell with that. Act as if you're supposed to be there and behave in this way when you, connect to Catherine's takeaway.
I love it.
All right?
And if you all love us and you love what you hear, please go to iTunes and leave us a 5-star rating. We would love that too.
We sure would. And we're on all the other really cool social media sites, but you can find us on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube for the videos.
That's right.
So, and then feel free to connect with us, write us, and we'll be happy to write you back. Hey, Catherine, where do they find us?
We are at what'sherenowkid.com.
What'sherenowkid.com. It gets better every time you say it.
I know, doesn't it? It's just cool.
And I'm Joe Shum. I'm a success coach with Soul Patch Hippo. Be big, be cool, be hippo.
And I'm Catherine Sable. I am a coach as well, and I inspire entrepreneurs to do epic shit.
Yeah. In our next episode, we take the most simple word, play, and expand on it. You have to come find out how to bring that word back into your life.